Oh man. Hey, what's up, Nomad Nation? You've got Godfather. I am one third of your Nomad Gamers. Hey, it's Tuesday. We have made it through yet another weekend. This is the first Talking Tuesday in about almost 2 weeks now. So, welcome back to everybody. As you can see, my green screen's all sorts of effed up right now, but that's okay. Uh, it'll have to do for now. It'll have to do for now. So if you are watching me out there on Facebook, on Kick, and on Twitch, I want to say thank you very much. You found Godfather. If you are not a follower already, I invite you. Go hit that follow button, turn on your notifications. It all helps. If you're watching me over on YouTube, I want to say thank you. You found the home of the Nomad Gamers, where every Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, my two co-hosts join me on stage, and we have a blast talking about gaming news and games in general. Now, finally, if you are watching me over on TikTok, thank you very much. You have found Godfather1. Hey, here's what I need you to do. I need you to hit the follow button, and then I need you to be kind. Tap that screen. Give me a few likes on your way out. I know you're not staying for the whole thing. So, one, last but not least, Discord. If you want to talk with your favorite Nomad gamer, don't even have to be playing the same game as us. Uh, you can go to www.discord.com. Go find your Nomad gamers, spelled the same way as it is for our YouTube channel. Do what you got to do to subscribe to the channel, and then you will find me under the Grand Theft Auto channel, since that's what I'm normally playing. If you're here earlier in the morning, go to the Tarkov channel and you'll find Fireball. But one of us is always on there, except for right now because I don't want to get the shit scared out of me by someone being in there. What do we have to talk about tonight? Well, tonight, if you've been watching any of my other social medias, you would know that some of the content that I posted today uh, had to do with uh, EA cutting staff for Battlefield 6. It's one of the hottest games out there when it came out. Then it kind of fizzled, it kind of stumbled, and now it looks like they are fighting for their proverbial life over there. So we'll go check in with that. We also got some news from the Blizzard's new installment of the WoW franchise. Mega Man is having some problems with the Union. Let's see. Is there a new? Is there something new for the terms of service for for the games that we play? Then let's see here. What else do we have? RuneScape. You're in the news for the wrong reasons. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger, the I'll be back. He has made a big announcement. It has to do with video games. We will cover that. So let's get right into it. So I know everybody out there has heard the game World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has been out since 2004. Our very own Zanar Crest Rider, he plays World of Warcraft religiously. In fact, if I were to go over to Discord right now, pull it up, I would probably see Zanar Crest Rider and with the little caption underneath his name saying playing World of Warcraft. So as everybody knows, the newest one came out, but Blizzard nerfed this WoW item. But players found an even better loophole that allowed them to travel across the planet every 2 minutes. Now, if you've played WoW, you know going every 2 minutes to be able to go from the Eastern Kingdom over to the other island, I can't think of the name of it now, up to Northrend, to the outer the outer realm or whatever that's called. It was during the Burning Crusades. You would know that it takes forever to get from the northern half of the Eastern Kingdoms down to the southern half. It takes even longer to go from the Eastern Kingdoms over. I wish I had a map, but I don't. But over to the other continent or up to Northrend. It takes absolutely flipping forever. So for WoW heads out there to find a loophole to that, to be able to travel from one side of the continent or world to the other side uh, every 2 minutes, that's pretty huge. Now, the other thing about World of Warcraft players is this: is they always find a loophole, they always exploit the loophole, and when Blizzard finally finds it and Blizzard fixes it, then they go, "Oh man, we can't have any fun." That lasts for about a week or two, and then they move on. So for World of Warcraft, this is nothing new. This is uh, this is pretty much the same. It's just a big circle. They just happen to be at the top where everyone's complaining. They'll get over it. They'll go back down to where it is relatively peace and calm, and then they'll loop back around, find something else, and start complaining about it again. Oh, let's see here. What do we got for them? I'm going to read a little bit of this, and we'll talk about it. I'm pretty sure it was World of Warcraft, and I did learn this here, where I learned the phrase exploit early, exploit often. Whenever players discover something Blizzard probably didn't want them to, buying items for cheaper than they sell for was a common one, but there have been worse things like slaying hundreds of frogs. What did frog ever do to you? For a shortcut to godhood. He's not wrong. The article that I'm pulling all this from is not wrong. I don't think that we ever used the word exploit early, exploit often. But whenever something were to come up, it come through the guild, we'd all charge over, we'd all go get whatever it was, and then we'd have it in our bag, put it in our bank, and then Blizzard would come out and fix it and piss everybody off. Slaying of frogs, I can't even remember any frogs being in the game, but I've been away from the game now for almost 16 years, so I'm sure a lot has changed. Usually these fixes get. I already said that. Uh, Blizzard must have thought it solved the problem when it first dropped a hot fix for the personal key to the Arcanic. Oh, good lord, I can't speak. Arcantina item on March 6th. But players quickly figured out a loophole that made it even more useful than before. By its description, the personal key to the Arcantina is supposed to teleport you to the new social hub in Silver Moon City and then back to where you came from. The intention, I think, was to give players an easy way to visit the new area regardless of whether their Hearthstone is set to return them to. This backfired as soon as players realized the key was effectively a unique Hearthstone to Silvermoon City with a 1.5 minute cooldown timer, as opposed to the regular Hearthstone's 30-minute cooldown. That sounds familiar. All you had to do was use it and then walk out the door into the city. I get what they're saying here. I do. Because you only use that Hearthstone, at least back when I was playing, you only use that when you absolutely, utterly needed to. Like if I was in Northrend farming something, farming materials to build something, or farming mats to sell on the auction house, or whatever, and all my mates, all my friends were down in Stormwind and saying, "Hey, come on, let's go do a raid, let's go do this, let's go do that." But I know that if I were to get on anything and fly towards uh, Stormwind, it would take me at least 15 minutes by air to get there. So what you would do then is you would just hit your Hearthstone, you would disappear, reappear in Stormwind, meet up with your friends, and go do whatever you got to do. But just know that you have a 30-minute cooldown to be able to come back to your Hearthstone. That's why everyone uses it very, very sparingly. This is what a WoW player would consider overpowered. The ability to travel to the main city of the expansion every few minutes. Silver Moon has portals to every other major city in the game, and almost every new activity in Midnight starts there. That's the other thing I like about Blizzard. And they're starting to do it a little bit more now. And I'm very excited for those players. It's not enough to get me back, but I'm excited for those players because what happens is if you go back and you look at the 2004 version of World of Warcraft, the vanilla, you have Orgrimmar, you have Thunder Valley, you have Silvermoon, you have Ironforge, you have Stormwind. Dalaran was there. I'm not 100% sure, but it might have been. But then you started getting expansions. The Burning Crusades started taking you away from those cities. And up until midnight, Silver Moon City, I think the only time that and this is back in 2010, the only time I would go to Silver Moon City was to get quests, to keep grinding, to get to that coveted level 80. That was the only time. I'd go get the quest, I'd go run the quest. When I was done running the quest, I would come back, turn it in, get another one, move on, do my thing, come back, turn it in. Oh, that one's done. There's another one over here. Once I was done with all of those quests in that city, I would hop on Gryffindor or a dragon or whatever. I'd hop on that bad boy and I would fly off to Orgrimmar or I'd fly off to wherever I knew there were more quests for me to complete. And then Silver Moon City was out of my mind. I ain't going back there again unless uh, there's a uh, there's a challenge out there to where in one sitting, if you go around and you kill all the major, we'll go with bosses for each faction. Let's say your alliance, so you go around and you attack all the hordes, and they all fall. You get this big achievement. If you're a horde, you do it with the alliance. So I guess that's long-winded for me to say I'm very happy that Blizzard is bringing the story back to a forgotten city, one that has been very functional, but people don't know much about it because there's nothing up there to keep them doing it. There's nothing for them to go back in there and go, yeah, I am going to chill out in Silver Moon City and do X, Y, and Z. It's the same thing with like there's a couple villages in Northrend. After the Wrath of the Lynch King was over, most people only go up there when they're going through the storyline to level up, and then they go back there because they know where there is ore. They know where there's mats to make this, that, or the other to put on the auction block, and to get gold. That's all they do. So for Blizzard, knowing that they got this big map, and if you remember, they really reeled in their player base because at one time, I think they got up to level 125 or 150 or something like that. And then they came out, I think it was the War Within or the War for Azeroth or one of those. I wish Ray was here, he'd be able to tell me. But there was one of these where uh, they took all of those high levels and they squished them all back down to level 80. When I was playing the game, I kind of foresaw them doing this. I kind of foresaw that they were going to run out of levels. If they wanted to keep this game going by now, right now, 2026, back in 2008, 2009, 2010, when I was playing the game, I even seen this that, oh my God, if we're getting a new expansion every 2 years, roughly, they're going to be at like level 700 in 15 years. It's ridiculous. So once they got up to that I think it was 125, 150, something like that. They took all of them and they squished them back to 80 and brought it back to the levels of Wrath of the Lynch King. And yeah, Wrath of the Lynch King, because after that, I believe you could go up to 105 or 90, 95, and then it was 110, something like that. 105. It kept going up by 10 levels every time after that. So, head players of World of Warcraft, keep doing your thing. Keep looking at and exploiting anything that Blizzard gives you. As long as you're not cheating, and this is far from cheating, this is far from glitching, go for it. If they're going to try and sell you something on the ultra cheap, hey, if you're paying gold for it and that's the price they have, it's not glitching. It's their fault. Go ahead and exploit it. It's all good. Let me know down in the comments how many WoW players we have out there. When you tell me what faction you're with. Are you for the Horde? Or are you for the Alliance? I know I was on both teams at one point in time. I started off with the Alliance uh, because I was playing with Sweet Kitty Pie, an older name in World of Warcraft. It probably doesn't carry no weight anymore. I was playing with Tiger as well. I was in the Damned for the guild. I don't remember the two individuals' screen names. The guild master, I guess you would say, the leader, and his wife, who actually had the guild. But I know their real names. I follow them on Facebook. I will not share it, but uh, yeah. And then after I stopped playing with them, and I went over to Egypt, a bunch of my friends over there were playing Horde, so I paid the money and I jumped factions, and that was for all of my players. And I went ahead and reassigned them a new race. And continued on as the Horde. And in fact, today, God's father is still on a perch overlooking Orgrimmar, unless they've taken that perch out. It's one of the really high rock formations, and I'm up there with my dragon mount. So let me know in the comments, which one were you? Were you Horde or were you Alliance? Or are you Alliance and are you Horde? Which one? Uh, that makes a hell of a lot of difference in that game. All right. Let's see here. Let's go with the biggest news of the day. What the hell is going on over at EA with Battlefield 6? When Battlefield 6 came out in October, they smashed franchise records for the launch. It was the hottest game of October and November. And in fact, in my humble opinion, I think that it really blunted Call of Duty's release of their new game. But since then, they have tumbled. They have tripped. And some would say right now, they are on their knees. EA cuts staff at Battlefield 6 dev after game's massive initial success. They had a huge success, and they pissed it away, obviously. Battlefield 6 broke records with the franchise and was one of the top selling games of all of 2025 in the US. But that apparently wasn't enough to insulate the dev team from layoffs. EA has laid off staff from across Battlefield studios, but the exact number of the affected employees is currently unknown. We have been reporting on this with the Nomad Gamers for at least 2 months, and I have more thoughts on these layoffs from these developers, but I'll get to that real soon. According to IGN, EA characterized the layoffs as a realignment. They always do. And all 4 of the studios under Battlefield Studios banner, DICE, Ripple Effect Studios, Criterion Games, and Motive Studio, will remain open. That's a good thing. So one of the things that we at Nomad Gamers are kind of irritated about right now is you get these big time game developers out there who are laying off staff. We've seen it with Ubisoft. We're seeing it with EA. We've seen it with Microsoft. Rockstar, they had a little dust up, some firings. Ooh, I don't want to go back into that. They had a little bit too. Bethesda is one of the ones that were probably wrapped into Microsoft. That's probably why we didn't hear about that. But one of the things that we keep hearing, and one of the things that the more that I hear this, the more that I see this, the more that it, excuse my French, but it really pisses me off. Is you look at these extremely popular games. Some of them are behind me right now. You got Sonic, you've got Zelda, you've got Donkey Kong, and I don't know what the hell this is right here. It is what it is. But you got Rockstar, you've got Grand Theft Auto, you got Red Dead 2, you've got, or Red Dead, I should say, Grand Theft Auto, I should say. You've got all these big time developers out there who have insanely popular games. When you ask them, why are you not bringing out a new game but once every 13 years? You know what their responses normally are? And at the beginning, I could understand it. Their responses were, and we, if you want to know more, look back on the Nomad Gamers and you over on YouTube. You will find where we all talk about this. They say overhead cost or cost to make the game, constraints with number of employees, and there was a third one that I can't remember off the top of my head. The one that is sticking out the most to me is lack of employees. And that's where I'm starting to get very, very irritated with these developers. Could you imagine? Just imagine for a minute. I know it's kind of hard for some of us. Sometimes it's very hard for me too. But just imagine if Rockstar were to gobble up a team of these developers, plop down, and by the way, they're not. So don't think that I'm spreading a rumor. I'm not. But they were plopped down to one-page concept for Red Dead Redemption 3. Or they were to say, we're going to have you guys working on supporting Red Dead Online for Red Dead 2. And then we're going to take all of our experienced devs and push them off to Red Dead 3. Think of how fast a game would come out that would be fully polished, fully working, but the game behind it would still be operational as they're trying to get to the next game. Look at Ace Combat 8. That's another prime example. They spit off the same excuses. Ubisoft has said it multiple times out of one side of their mouth, and then they turn around and they start laying people off on the other side, and you go, what is the deal? You had employees, and then you laid them off. EA, same way. They've got all these franchises, and all of them are very popular. They've got Madden. They have got Battlefield. They have got, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but they've got quite a bit. The Madden game goes off without a hitch, although the Madden game is much like a Corvette. And what I mean by it being a Corvette is it's cookie cutter. There's not much to bring out in football year after year except for updating the rosters so they have it easy. Battlefield 6, in my opinion, they promised too much and they delivered not enough. That's what it came down to. One of the quotes in here is, although Battlefield 6 lost a significant number of players following its launch, the dev team was bullish on Season 2's roadmap. I reported on that too, and I said it didn't sound so hot. Season 2 roadmap of updates to turn things around. Season 2 was also delayed for fine tuning, which broke the pace of its updates, according to producer Phil Jarrett. Producer Alexa, and I'm not going to try and murder that last name, also noted that the team wouldn't rush out new maps for Battlefield 6 despite players' desire for a new sandbox to play in. They were promising the largest maps in this type of a game. When the game dropped, they had one that was bigger than the others. And I talked to Samurai. He plays that game, or did, and he said it really wasn't that much bigger. I talked to Fireball, who's played this game. He's a big Call of Duty fan too, and he said, "No, that pump and fizz just wasn't there." And then when you go to roll out a season 2 where everybody and their brother is expecting you to fix the mistakes from your launch, and you delay it for fine tuning, and then you still fail to produce something of value, that happens. You get laid off. So, in my opinion, they kind of did this to themselves. It is still unclear how deep the cuts were at Battlefield Studios, and if the affected team's ability to release the new content that was promised on the updated roadmap. The move also comes at a time when EA is seeking approval for its $55 billion sale to Saudi Arabia's PIF and other investors. I don't think this is going to uh, hinder that sale. I think that sale's done. And if it's not done, it's pretty much done. But man, my heart goes out to these workers who are losing their job. My heart goes Isaiah 425. Hey, thank you for the gift. I do appreciate it over on TikTok Live. My heart goes out to these workers who have been laid off and their whole world is now flipped on its head. Times are already hard enough. We don't need to compound it with something like this. On top of that, there's so many games out there that gamers are freaking begging for. Bethesda, where the hell are you at? Why aren't you scooping up more developers? Why are you not opening up a studio over in Europe where the Ubisoft team was? Why are you not opening up a studio where these EA workers were? You have got 2 games that are being absolutely freaking strangled, and you're not doing a damn thing. Elder Scrolls 6 was promised to the players back in 2018. Promised. You broke that promise and you gave us Starfield. By the way, another fine game. I like it. But then you went and you orphaned it. Absolutely orphaned it. Hasn't been an update in over a year. Now modders have taken control. Modders are making those 2 games playable. So where are you at when all of these developers are being laid off? Why are you not opening up another development studio close to where these people are at and say, hey, look, and I don't know their financials over at Bethesda. I don't. But I'm quite sure that they could bring on 10 of these people and say, Starfield is your baby. Maybe the first 1 or 2 DLCs, you run it past the executive producer, and then after that, you have carte blanche. But if it fails, you're out the door again. You know how many Starfield players would come back to that game and actually pay for a DLC? It'd be maddening. Then you got Elder Scrolls 6. You got people like Zenar Creststrider, who is chomping at the bit for that game. You've got a whole community that if you were to bring that game out, it would be like printing off money. It'd damn near be illegal. I get very fired up when it comes down to layoffs. I get very fired up when it comes down to these companies yanking the chains of their employees. It absolutely pisses me off. And I've been trying to keep my language at a G rated because I was told I have some young kids watching, so I'm trying to watch that. But at the same time, when it comes down to yanking around somebody's life, that's when I start to get very upset. So it seems like every 2 weeks we're hearing of another company in the gaming industry laying off developers. But then in the other cheek, you've got players clamoring for the games that they love. Hey, we want another Elder Scrolls. We want another Fallout. We want another Starfield. We want another Grand Theft Auto. We want another RDR. We want another Ace Combat. We want another Mario. We want another Zelda and Sonic. All these fan bases want, and the developers are failing because they're letting good employees go. All right, I got to get off this topic. Otherwise, my blood pressure is going to go up and you might see me croak on camera. And nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see that. All right. So, this one here is kind of funny. I added it in only because uh, I've been seeing a lot about live actions when it comes down to video games. I seen a live action a couple days ago, or ideas for one, for a Red Dead Redemption 2 with Arthur Morgan and the gang. And it got me thinking, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. But it got me thinking, what story could they tell us in a live action? Because I don't want to see the story that Rockstar told us and that we played in the game. If we're going to have a storyline, I would rather it be something that we have never seen before. Do something like what Bethesda did with Fallout. That's very successful. I don't think they could do it, but hey, it's plausible. I couldn't find the article of these actors who were saying they would play Arthur Morgan. A couple of them looks like they could, but when I was trying to find that, I ran across this. Arnie says he will reprise his Mortal Kombat role as Conan the Barbarian on the big screen, which tells me, and I didn't look at this. It tells me that Mortal Kombat's coming out with another movie. Mission Impossible director Christopher McQuarrie will direct the next Conan movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger announced. Okay, is it just another Conan the Barbarian? If so, I got fooled. Oh, let's see here. Uh, yeah, okay. There's another Conan the Barbarian movie coming out. I got fooled. I thought it was another Mortal Kombat movie or a Mortal Kombat show coming out, and it's not. It has everything to do with Conan the Barbarian. And what I was going to say, and let's just go down the road like they were going to have it, because obviously I got really fooled, is Arnold has got to be getting up in his 70s, maybe 80s, maybe. It's kind of funny to see somebody that is a senior citizen recomprising his role in a Mortal Kombat where it is literally combat to your death. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of wow. Uh, Meanwhile, NetherRealm's a fighting game franchise is also returning to the silver screen. Oh, here we go to the silver screen soon as Mortal Kombat 2 hits theaters on May 8th. I love the Mortal Kombat franchise. I love playing it. I don't love it enough to follow it all the time. And it's one of those where Fireball will talk shit. We'll throw on Mortal Kombat, and next thing you know, the entire family's in the living room, and we're getting down on Mortal Kombat. But it goes back to maybe it's time for Arnold and maybe it's time for Hollywood to take the torch of Conan the Barbarian and pass that on to a younger generation. It is not unheard of. Look at Superman. Superman has been through how many actors since Superman came out, in, at least to the movies, I think the early to mid 70s. You've had Christopher Reeves, and then you've had like three others since then. You've had the Man of Steel. Uh, you've had cartoons. You've had TV shows. You've had all this stuff. You've had Supergirl. You've had all this crap. You can pass the torch, but I don't think Arnold is a good fit for another installment of Mortal Kombat. I just don't. By the way, because I'm seeing it, uh, my door to the Shire is actually this way. I'm seeing flashes. We are having a big storm roll through our area. So if I cut out and I don't say bye bye to you, just know that power in the Shire has probably been cut. And I am out here with Minerva, the headmistress, to make sure that all is well. All right. So one of the things that I have been very critical about, and I'm not afraid to say that I'm wrong at times. I'm not. I've been highly critical about microtransactions in games such as Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite, Fallout. Minecraft has started to get bad with it to a point, not as bad as the others. And then I was cruising on through GameSpot, just kind of looking around, and I ran across an article that said, after killing off microtransactions, got my attention immediately. RuneScape. I've never played the game before. I don't know anything about it. But RuneScape raises subscription prices. And that got me thinking. Maybe it's the microtransactions that are keeping the DLCs free, or is keeping subscriptions at $12 to $15 a month. And I don't know what RuneScape is, but I know World of Warcraft is either 12 or 15. And then you have DLCs coming out for like not World of Warcraft, but Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, Fallout, Escape from Tarkov, Ark. All these games, the DLCs are now free. And it took me a minute to figure out that and make the connection that maybe microtransactions is what is keeping the DLCs free to players, to where you no longer have to pay $29.99 to get Far Harbor on Fallout. Now, I was just saying that as an example. You still have to pay for that one. But if you look at 76, their expansions are free now. Maybe it's the microtransactions that is doing it. If you look over at Fortnite, Fortnite just announced, and I won't do a full segment on them, but they just either increased the price to get the in-game currency, similar to what Rockstar does with the Game Shark or the Shark card. They just recently raised it, and their explanation was to pay the bills. I don't. By the way, I don't believe that is actually why they raised it, but that's the excuse they gave us. So as I was thinking about this, I went, wait a minute here. Is there a direct relation between the microtransactions in the games to the subscription price of the game? If it's by subscription, the only ones I know of is RuneScape and World of Warcraft. Or is it between the microtransactions and the free DLCs? So take out the microtransactions. Does that mean the DLCs are now going to be $29.99 to get the latest update. That would suck, especially with a game like Grand Theft Auto where we're going on 13 years now with it. So you pay $59.99 for that game, and then I think they're coming out with a new update every 6 months to every year. It's another $29.99. By now, you would have spent $700 on that game. Some people have with shark cards, by the way, but that's a whole nother thing. So I am not afraid to come out and tell everybody that I was wrong, that I did not look at the entire picture, that when it came down to microtransactions, maybe that was the anchor that we were needing to either keep the subscription price down or to keep the DLCs free. So for that, I apologize out there. I will say when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. So RuneScape, bring back the microtransactions and drop the price of your subscription, because not a lot of players are going to go to your game if the subscription rate is higher than your competitors. All right. Mega Man. I can't do two negative reportings in back to back. My blood pressure will go through the roof. I'll get pissed off. I'll start yelling. I'll start cussing more than normal. And I might start shaking, which is not a good thing. So I have to break him up a little bit. But Mega Man, what the hell are you doing? Better yet, Capcom, what are you doing? Mega Man is one of those games that's hung around since the 90s, since these two, or three, these two here, and then this one. And I still don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the hell this one. Yeah, I don't know what this one is. Well, forget about this one. But when these three were very popular back in the day, Mega Man was also popular. Mega Man used to be a very cool game back on the NES, and the Super NES for that matter. But times have changed, obviously. Mega Man's voice actor won't return for sequel because Capcom won't go union. This is the other one where I got to say, I'm sorry, because I was wrong. I was highly critical of actors for gaming going union up until recent events. And I'm not scared to say that, I can change my mind. I can change my view. I can evolve. That's one of the great things about, I guess, getting a little older, is you can evolve and you can change your mind. Unless Capcom changes gears, Mega Man Dual Override is going to need a new Mega Man actor and a non-union cast. I will not lie to anybody. I did not know that there was an actor for Mega Man. Last time I played Mega Man didn't talk. Last time I played Mega Man, it was on the Nintendo Entertainment System or the Super Nintendo. I have not played it for the Switch. I have not played it for the Cube or the Game Boy or any of the other ones. I have only played it for the first two installments. But yeah, they have to do something. They have to. All right. So, how many of you out there, when you fire up a game, you get those silly terms of service, and they make you scroll all the way to the bottom, and sometimes it feels like that is literally 5 minutes of scrolling all the way down. Click on the I agree, and then you can move on. Well, obviously, somebody out there did not agree with it because they took the industry to court over terms of service. Now, I need to say a little caveat here. Be careful. Be very careful, because there is some terms of service out there that directly says, if you do this, we can kick you off this game, no matter how many hours you have in this game. So be very careful, please. I'm not advocating for you to cheat. I'm not advocating for you to glitch, but ignorance is not a defense. So be careful when it comes to this. I know I'm going to love it. Now you don't even need to pretend to read the terms of service, as the U.S. court rules that continued use can imply consent. Surveillance culture is bleak. Just this weekend, I saw this charming animated Diddy pitching self-described family safety app. What the hell? Safety app Life 360, in which a mother sings about all the awful things. Okay, I'm not going into all that. Yeah, we're not going into that. That went somewhere obviously I don't want to go. Has nothing to do with gaming. All right, so some of the other things that are going on in the gaming industry I can report on is we're getting some leaks on Grand Theft Auto 6. I wanted to save this to the end. One of the leaks is they still don't know how much this game is going to cost, but every indication out there is showing that it's going to cost anywhere between $80 and $100. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. But then as I read this article and as I got going into it and got more invested and got more interested, it made a lot of sense to me. It did. It said if you broke down Grand Theft Auto 5, it released in 2013 for I believe $59.99. If you broke that down by year for 13 years, I believe it came to just under $8 a year or a month. One of the two. I think it was a year. If you think about it, some of your subscriptions out there are more than that. And if you really love that game, and like some people where you are honestly playing that game every single day, then you get your money back. Chungus, when he was on the Nomad Gamers, he said something that made me think and made me go, you know what? He is correct. So I adopted it. $1 an hour. If the game cost $80, I should get 80 hours of enjoyment out of it to make it worth my time. If it's 29, 25, 30, $1 an hour is right on point. So with Grand Theft Auto being $80 to $100, and Grand Theft Auto, we know because it was actually leaked, and yes, we all know the map is going to be 4 times bigger than Grand Theft Auto 5. And they're saying that the hours for the story mode is going to be way up. That means you're probably going to get your money back. Now, if you take into account the online mode, I bought Grand Theft Auto for, I believe, $19.99. $19.99 or $20. And I am a PC player. Okay. There is a difference between the consoles and the PC. However, taking that into account, playtime up until today, and I've only been playing since October of 2025, I've got 176.9 hours invested in Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, if you come down to Red Dead Redemption 2, I have 167.2 hours. Those were the first 2 games that I downloaded and paid for when I left Xbox Live, or Game Pass, I should say. So right there, if I were to go $1 an hour for my enjoyment, this game has more than paid for itself in just about 6 months. Red Dead Redemption 2, which I haven't picked up in probably a little over a month now, maybe more than that. has more than paid for itself. I paid $30 in total for both games. Both games. So maybe they were 15 apiece. I don't know. I think I got them on special. $1 an hour, that's all you need. But the one thing that I am kind of upset about is the PC version of Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't coming out for like another year. Online mode is probably going to take them another year. So, as I've been sitting here saying, Grand Theft Auto 5, this should be the last DLC for it, I was actually wrong. Man, I've been wrong a lot tonight. These DLCs are going to have to keep going for another year, maybe year and a half, before we get the Grand Theft Auto Online for Grand Theft Auto 6. And what I hope they do for Grand Theft Auto 6 is let us keep our character, let us keep our crew intact. And this is kind of me just kind of reaching, kind of going over my skis a little bit. But it'd be awfully cool if you had one last mission where you did the mission and you're getting chased by the police, no matter if you hide or not. You go all the way down to the airport. You go screaming in onto the tarmac, get out of one car, you jump onto a fucking jet, and it whisks you away. The screen goes dark, comes back, and you're landing into Grand Theft Auto 6. But when you land, you no longer have all your levels, and you don't have all your money. You start back at the big goose egg for both. That would give us a chance to say goodbye to something we have been building on for the last 12 years. And it'd be a good goodbye with a good hello. And it would keep everybody on the same even keel. All right. Wow. That was a hell of a Talking Tuesday. I thought I'd switch up how I deliver things, and I think it worked pretty well. So we're going to wrap it up now. If you haven't went over and looked at Santiago Cirillo, he is on TikTok and on Facebook. Go check him out. He's doing really good things with Back from the Dead and a couple other movies that he's starring in, along with Inhumane Championship Wrestling. Trash Can Graham, I've been following him lately. He's doing awfully good things with Inhumane Championship Wrestling. Go follow him as well. Give them both a like. Tell them that I sent you. In the words of my good friend Santiago Cirillo, your negativity cannot and will not break me. You're beautiful the way you are. Keep being you. If you're out there playing a game and you run across a griefer, and that griefer needs blown the fuck up, you blow that motherfucker up. We've been averaging anywhere between 4 and 8. We added one tonight. 8. It has been between 6 and 7. It's now 8 on all social medias besides TikTok. I'll get to TikTok in a second. I want to say thank you very much. We didn't get any likes. We didn't get any new followers off of those. And that is okay. Sometimes you get the goose egg. It's all good. Now, for over on TikTok Live, we had a total viewership of 32. Not my greatest, not my worst. Average. I'm okay with that. We had one gifter. I want to say thank you to Isaiah 425. Thank you again for the gift. I do appreciate it. We had 400. That's right, 400. 445 likes over on TikTok Live. I want to thank you all for your love. I want to thank you all for your support and continuing to support and continuing to watch me and watch my two co-hosts on the Nomad Gamers. So until I see you again tomorrow night at 7:30, when I take on the mean streets of Los Santos in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online,